Everyone, what's up? Welcome back to Why Would We Know? I'm Rajat,
I'm first, huh?
and now we're going to talk about the episode 3 of The Rings of Power.
The
Uh,
eagle and the scepter.
yeah, that's the name. I did not know. Thank you for that. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that and see how the season is progressing.
Okay, let's do that.
Story basically starts with, the introduction of Isildur again, not the introduction, but his side of the story. So after the eruption of Mount Doom, his horse Beric basically finds him alive in the nest of giant spiders and tries
Oh,
to, uh, get him out of there basically.
yeah, this was a. I mean, it was a funny scene. I mean, the horse was fighting orcs. Did you see that when he kicks this orc
Yeah.
into some? This is a very skillful horse. That's
Yes,
let's
for sure.
put it this way. Yeah, and then the horse runs into this cave. And then we see all the spiders and webs and everything, and then we see Isildur
Yep.
hanging in some spider web, and and I'm immediately asking the question: how did he get there? I
Yes.
mean, the last time we saw him, he was buried under a house on fire.
Fire.
Who brought him there?
Yeah. They never cleared that up, I guess.
And it's
Nor they're
pretty
interested in that.
far away from the place where he was buried in the
Yep.
fire. It's pretty
Yep.
far away. It's not a jolly walk around the corner
Mhm.
to Sirit Ungol where the spiders live.
Yeah, I don't know. My assumption is that he somehow escaped. Somehow, I don't know what that somehow is,
Maybe
but somehow
some orc
escaped.
brought him there, but
Yeah,
that doesn't really matter. So
yeah.
I guess the only reason why they did this whole scene was to introduce spiders and have some action scene with spiders,
Hmm.
because that was a really important moment in the Lord of the Rings when Frodo was supposedly killed by what is it called in English? Shelob, because in German the spider is called Kankra, which I
Okay.
find is a way better name than Shelob. But anyways, it's called Shelob, right? The spider, the giant spider is called Shelob in English.
Hmm.
And yeah, and now we see young Shelob here, because Isildur fights this spider, and I don't know if you noticed it, and he stabs her with a knife. That's where he's able to escape. He stabs her in the eye, and
Yep.
then Shiloh runs away. So that's why we know that this is Shiloh, because when we see Shiloh in The Lord of the Rings, when she fights with Sam and Frodo, you see that her eye is injured, and we should believe that this injury comes from this fight with Isildur
Yeah, and
back
that
in the
injury
day.
lasted pretty long.
Yeah, and
No idea.
yeah. By the way, so Shelob is the daughter of Ungoliath, yeah,
Hmm.
which is also a very powerful being from the beginning of time. So, anyways, this whole scene didn't make any sense, and it was just there to be there, just for the effects.
Hmm.
So yeah, and then yeah, okay, then Isildur returns to some Númenorian colony, as he thinks, and he
Yes.
meets some woman.
Hmm. Like a mystery woman, I would say, Astrid named, and
Yeah,
she is. I don't know. I mean, I did not, you know, like understood her character in a way. I would never even guess that she could be wearing the Adar's brand or something like that. That was not clear from the beginning.
yeah,
Um,
that's another thing. Okay, yeah, she wears this mark, yeah, because we
yeah.
learned that they all get branded if they pledge allegiance to Ada, and then they get branded. But this branding doesn't do anything. I mean, yeah, I pledge allegiance. Please don't kill me. Yeah, brand me. Yeah, and then I go away. I have the branding, but it doesn't mean anything. I mean, that
Mhm.
doesn't mean that I'm still loyal to Ada.
Yeah, but I think that is true. But I think that says something about, I guess, the personality of the other person in a way. So, see, one could do it or get the other's brand just to escape or just to stay alive.
Yeah,
and the others could do it out of fear to actually be with him,
yeah,
side
yeah.
side
But
of him.
she could be honest with it. Say, yeah, I have this mark, but I escaped, and I'm no longer loyal to Ada.
But I think, yeah,
Nobody would have a
that
problem with that.
that
But since she was hiding it, then hey, why were you hiding the sign of Ada? So
but
you
I think
are loyal to Ada and
that is
just
true. But I
didn't want
think
to know us.
I know. But the thing is, usually, I mean, anyone who has done something shady, they try to hide it in fear that if they reveal the truth, they might not even believe me. They would still kill me or whatever. So she hid
Yeah,
it from that point of view,
that's
and
just
you can,
that's
yeah,
just a yeah that but that's just a minor thing with her. I mean the whole character is pointless.
yeah. I mean, so far she hasn't been like, yeah, that important to the storyline, I would say.
If you ask me, she is just a replacement for Bronwyn, which we learn has passed away for some reason.
hmm No, not
How
for
did
some
you?
reason.
What's the explanation? Why did Bronwyn die?
As far as I remember, she got poisoned, right?
I don't know. Did
His
she?
mother, yeah, she got poisoned, and they could not save her
Well, I don't know.
because
I
she
don't
was
remember.
there on the fight. I think she was either poisoned or literally killed by one of the orcs.
Well, I don't remember. I guess she was still alive in season one.
No, no, no. She died. She died in the season one, and that's
Okay.
why the son of hers was unhappy with that other elf. You know,
Yeah, that's something that I didn't understand either. Why did Theo have a problem with Arondir?
because I
It wasn't
think
his fault.
I guess he expected that he would save his mother, which eventually he could not, and he's like the father he never wanted,
Yeah, but
because
he's his actual father. That's another thing. Come on, Theo, put away your hair. And by the way, why doesn't I mean it will be revealed at some point that Theo is the son of Arondir and Bronwyn, and
hopefully,
then they will reveal it. Look, oh, I have elf ears, but Theo must know how his ears look. It's only we don't
I
know, but
don't know,
but Theo must know,
or
and
maybe he
so
never
Theo
showered.
must be suspicious.
Maybe he never showered. Who knows?
So, but did you notice that every time we see Theo, he has this weird covering of his ears?
Yeah,
Yeah,
either
of
he
course,
knows
because he's the
how
son
he
of
looks like.
Arondir.
Yeah, yeah, something. And maybe yeah. I guess if the writers are smart, they will somehow come
No,
up with
they're
the
not.
reasoning. No,
Nah,
they're not.
no, no, they're not. So yeah, that's another thing. So I don't buy that Theo has beef with Arondir for no reason.
hmm
I don't know why Bronwyn is dead. So you think she died in season one? I don't think she
Yeah,
did.
yeah, she died. That I'm sure of. That I'm sure of.
Okay,
They
okay,
even showed us that. You know. So there was a
okay.
small battle on that small fort of some kind where the orcs attacked, and she died there.
Mm, mm. Yeah,
So
and and the whole thing with Isildur and the spiders.
yep, yep.
But
And
anyways, yeah,
so now
that's
moving
the problem with the
forward,
prequels. We all
yeah,
know we're not invested or we don't even fear anything for Isildur because we know he's gonna survive anyways.
yeah,
We know
sure,
that.
yeah. Now let's moving forward. So we see these wild men attacking Beric, and then it was saved by our elf Aaron Deer, and that's Bronwyn basically. And we already talked about that. Theo doesn't like him apparently because I think he's disappointed or mad at him for not saving his mother, uh, or not being able to save his mother's life for some reason, and that's why he's mad at him. And then he basically provides his help or assistance, to get Beric back from those wild men basically. So then there's like
Mm,
a big scene where we see him and the what's the name of the boy? I forgot now. I just Theo. Oh yeah,
Theo.
Theo. Basically, they saved Beric, but then he was captured by some creature. You know, they didn't show in this episode. So yeah, and then I think in the other scene we were in Númenor where Isildur's sister Irian. she basically revealed to everyone that this Queen Regent is actually has been using this Palantir something that gives her vision. She's not the one who is leading us. She's not the right person to do that, and she's also mad at her, I guess, because she thinks her brother died because of her, because she took everyone for that battle, and
Doesn't
so
make any sense. I
I
mean, she
don't
went to
know.
war. That's what happens in war. Why? What?
Yeah, but I think people of Numenor never really wanted. They were really happy in their,
Yeah, that's
lives.
also a thing. This. Yeah, I don't know about the Númenorian history. Well, the Númenorian kingdom is falling. That's for sure.
Mhm.
And Pharazôn is a
And
shady
that that
person.
that was the vision she was getting as well, the queen.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
Pharazôn is a shady person
yeah. And I
who
think that was the
doesn't
reason
belong
why.
to the he's not the heir of the throne. He's not. I guess his brother is or his uncle or something like that. But anyways, he grabs power by marrying Miriel.
Mhm,
That's the real story. So and that's why he gets king.
mhm.
So the whole story with the eagle and stuff like that that's all made up. It's not in the
But I think, I
real.
mean, I do understand why this Arian is mad at her or whatever, because like I said, I mean, not everyone could see what the queen saw through Palantir, right? The vision of the future, if Numenor is going to be destroyed, or they all think that we are very prosperous, we're gonna live through this age, we'll be fine. We don't need anybody else, we don't need
Yeah,
war. So people, and she's like a normal person as well. She believes that. But when Queen took everyone for the war, I mean, she, I guess, had the reason. Okay, maybe this is what this Palantir is telling me, that maybe I should protect these people. Maybe then I can save Numenor, right? And she took everyone. Her brother died, so she's mad, and she even saw that Palantir, that this is what what's guiding the queen. So, and she's with Farazon as well. I think under
how
her
would that be a
is,
problem with the Palantir? I don't get it. It's
yeah,
just
could
because it's
be,
elvish technology they hate
yeah,
it because they established that there is some racism against elves or something like that going on in Numenor.
yep,
I don't know if that's according to the law. I don't know, but
mhm,
yeah, at least in the story itself, it doesn't make really much sense, and it's not very good.
yeah.
It's told story.
Hmm. But yeah, I mean, everyone seems to have, been against the queen in a way, that she's been using Palantir and she's not the right one to lead us or whatever, right? And then I think this one thing that they have mentioned, that if that eagle comes, and then that's the one person that should lead Numenor, right? And that's what happened. That's what we saw happening. That somehow that eagle appeared out of nowhere, and
And how did they tell that he's supporting Pharazôn and not Miriel? Because Miriel was there
who
also.
knows? I mean, there were like so many people. He could be doing that for anybody.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, right. So I thought, okay, well, that's well. First of all, out of yeah, well, it
And
doesn't make any
like
sense with the
maybe,
Eagles.
yeah, and maybe like Eagle was like, "Hey, you got it all wrong. I was actually there for somebody else. You thought it was Farazan.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
maybe he was
yeah. At
actually
least
was there for the
they're
queen."
getting back on track on the real events that happened on Numenor because
Yeah.
Miriel never was the queen of Numenor. It was always Al-Pharazôn. He took over when Miriel's father died. Al-Pharazôn took over by marrying Miriel. So that's
Hmm.
the story, how it
Hmm.
actually happened in the story of Tolkien.
Hmm.
So, yeah, at least we have Alfarazon now taking over, so everything's straightened out again. The way they got there was wrong, but who cares? So now Alfarazon, and he will be the one that leads Numenor to its demise.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
so
Yep.
far it's established lore of Lord of the Rings.
True. True. And I think on the other hand, we then saw Anatar and Celebrimbor, gearing up to forge these rings, but they lack Mithrio, I think. That's the
Yeah,
name.
Mithril.
This metal that they lack, that they got from previously, I think, from Khazad-dûm, uh, right? So I
Mhm.
think, yeah, then they were like, okay, let's invite the Prince Durin here, and ask him to convince his father that and we're gonna give these rings to all the dwarven kings, and it will bring, I guess, prosperity and bring, or basically restore their kingdom, because they are dealing with some stress right now. So yeah, I think from what I could see, and it was pretty clear as well, that Durin doesn't like him. He doesn't believe or trust
So
this Anatar.
yeah, so that's another thing that he has a conflict with his father because
Yep.
Durin says, "Oh, it's all fine. You can have the Michu, yeah, create some rings. I like rings, you know." And Durin four, the son of Durin, I don't know about this Avatar guy. He's a little
Mhm.
bit shady.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows him and everything. He just popped out of nowhere. And but I
Yeah.
think, yeah, he did that because he thought it's his responsibility to at least convey the message of Celebrimbor and Anatar to his father. Whether what he wants to do with that information, that's totally up to him. So
Yeah.
yeah, but he agreed to give this material to them, and then they start with forging these rings. And then we also saw Anatar or Halbrand, or AKA Sauron, touching those rings while being forced to, I don't know, somehow corrupt it, or those rings.
Yeah, I
And
don't
I
know
think
exactly how he
even I
does
think
it,
I think
but it's more
Durin
like
noticed it.
doing song and singing and something like that. Because in Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings, most of the things, magic stuff is all singing and stuff like that. So he's whispering to put in his magic stuff, you know. So
yeah.
touching is not necessary for Sauron, I guess.
But I think from what, if I correctly remember, I think Durin was there when the rings were being forced, and he even saw Anatar, putting something there, and he just thought maybe it's normal, but he still had his suspicion that he might be not the right person.
Yeah, I guess all the things Anatar does and did. First of all, for the rings that they are forging, there's nothing shady about them. They are
Mhm.
totally cool, those rings. The only
Mhm.
shady ring is the One Ring.
Yeah, but I think he did corrupt the Dwarven rings, so it brought greediness or whatever to them. I mean, obviously, the men are the easiest to corrupt. That's what Celebrimbor also said in the coming up episodes.
Yeah, and like I said, I didn't know this about the rings, but I learned a lot from Angry Joe because Alex from the Angry Joe show is very good at the lore of the Lord of the Rings, and he said, yeah, that doesn't make any sense that Celebrimbor would say something like that. Oh, we cannot make rings for the men because men are weak. Well, that would be true, but they never were meant to be made for men. They always were meant to be made for elves.
Hmm.
So, if that is true, if those were rings forged for elves, it doesn't make sense for Celebrimbor to say, "Oh, we cannot forge the rings for man because man is not strong enough." Yeah, yeah. But yeah, in this kind of story, if they are intended to be for men, then it makes sense that Celebrimbor brings up this warning and say, "Oh yeah, should we really do rings for men because men are weak?" Okay, yeah, but yeah,
But yeah, I mean that's what happened. And what do you think about the whole episode? I think you said it was going downhill.
yeah, it's going down because the story mistakes, the problems start to bubble up. You know, um, the whole thing that they made up, the whole Isildur storyline is so confusing and wrong and misleaded. The whole thing with the spiders, he couldn't be in because the spiders are living in Cirid Ungol. You know, that's
Hmm.
the pathway between Gondor and Mordor, which is north of the place where the events happen in the season one. So when we saw season one, this pyroclastic storm that hit the village was in the south of Mordor, which is
Hmm.
hundreds of miles away from Sirungol.
Hmm.
So how did he get there? Okay, yeah, magic. Poof, he was there, and then he is in the middle of the nest of obviously Ungoliant, the mother of Shelob, and he fights Shelob. And that doesn't make any sense because you cannot. So they why did they put it in? I don't know. And then, well, at least at this season, they made a better job of showing that traveling around Middle Earth is not just going around the corner like they did in season one. They at least put in an animation of the map, so we see, okay, this takes some time. Well, that's
Yeah.
okay. So that's good. That they did a good job doing that. Yeah.
Mhm.
But still, the world is very small. That's also a real problem because Middle Earth is huge,
Mhm.
And what's the other thing? Yeah, this whole uh, beef between Arondir and Theo. I don't buy that at all. Why would? Why is he so? I don't like you. Don't touch me. What has he done to Theo? So I don't
Mhm.
buy that. And you say Bronwyn died in the season one. I
So did.
did not see, or maybe I just forgot it because. But anyways, this Astrid cast character doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
Why they put there in? It's just probably to have this love story between Isildur and Astrid. That's maybe the
Yep.
reason
Could
to
be.
appeal to the female audience.
Mhm.
I don't know.
So far,
Yeah,
doesn't make sense her character for sure. Maybe I don't know in the later episodes or later seasons she would have a bigger role to play. But so far, no.
yeah. So yeah. So yeah, yeah. I didn't think it was. That was the weakest of all the three episodes yet.
Mhm.
I would say.
I mean, not for me. I mean, I think for me, second and the third episode was kind of the same. I see the positives in a way that the story is progressing, and whatever they are showing. I mean, for example, I mean, I do not have as much of a backstory knowledge about the characters. Okay, why he could not have been there or anything like that. So I think I was just taking it as a source of truth. Maybe it is like that, you know, or something. So I think from that point of view, it didn't feel that. Yeah, but there are some logical mistakes, like you said, how he could have been in those caves with the spiders hundreds and miles of away. You know,
Yeah.
those
So
are
the
some
only
logical
reason,
mistakes. Yes.
the only explanation would be okay that this is close by.
Yeah. Something like
But
that. Maybe I don't know. Those
are
spiders were somewhere
spiders
out here.
known for pulling their prey out of fire? I don't think so. I don't think
I
that
know.
spiders are going into fire to get food. I
Hmm.
don't know.
But I think other than that, I think for me it was still believable because I think there's also one thing. I think you and I both are watching this show from a different perspective and point of view and different kind of a knowledge about the show and the history of it. So I think yeah, but it's good. I think we're both having different kind of an experience about the
Yeah,
same show, same episodes.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's interesting to see, to hear your point of view. What do you think that you have
yeah,
not the back knowledge of the lore?
yep,
How did you see that? Especially when it comes to the Numenor stories. I mean, I
yep.
don't know much about Numenor. I just a few things I read on the Lord of the Rings wikis because I heard a name and then I looked it up in the wiki and then I read all the backstory of Alfarason, which is
Hmm.
very fascinating. It's an interesting story, but they
Hmm.
told a completely different story. That's
Hmm.
more. It's more boring than the real story. The real story is much more interesting, to be
Hmm.
real. But maybe I don't know. Maybe they don't have the rights for that kind of stories. They don't. That's
Could
another
be.
thing. Amazon doesn't have the rights to the Silmarillion, so they couldn't take anything out of the Silmarillion, which is stupid. I mean, why did they even pay so much money for the rights? And the most interesting parts they cannot use, like the Lord of the Rings. They
Hmm.
cannot use anything from the Lord of the Rings. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, yeah,
So I guess that should be it for this episode,
yeah,
right? Yeah. And
yeah.
we will see you guys on the next episode's review. And
Right.
yeah, let's see how that goes.
See you then.
See you.